Samson? Beautiful.
I do I let it happen? Yeah, because if I fuck it, I'm not gonna ban people.
The Smash community is no stranger to controversy. However, a recent controversy, including myself and another creator called YungRob, has left many people scratching their heads wondering what the bloody hell is going on. Some believe me to be a random creator on the internet going after YungRob, whilst others actually know the truth of the matter. Because of YungRob and his community, I've received multiple threats of violence, threats to dox my location, and I've generally just had some pretty disgusting allegations thrown my way. YungRob has taken no action on these people who are actively making threats in his own Twitch comment section against me, and allows for his Discord members to lie about me for no discernible reason. Today I'll be using something YungRob4 doesn't have: evidence. This video will hopefully debunk the lies which he's conjured against me, whilst also acting as my official statement on the controversy. The video will be split up by timestamps, so please feel free to use them. Without further ado, let's get into the video. Understanding why we're in this situation is important. Both myself and Rob used to be fellow creators supporting one another's channels, so how did we suddenly fall out? According to Rob, he claimed it was down to two key elements. Number 1, Rob claimed that I was telling him to ban people in his chat for, and I quote, making mean comments about my mom. Rob didn't like how immature this was and decided to stop contacting me. And number 2, Rob alleged that I was only helping him so that I could take his community if he ever quit streaming permanently. Yeah, I really want this community in chat. They seem like such nice people. Both of these claims that Rob made are completely and verifiably untrue. And here's the evidence of what actually happened. So let's actually start with point 1. Rob is referring to a player known as Robotnik. We know that he's referring to this guy, as he states that Cluns is one of his good friends.
There was someone who came in fact Clunks knows him very well, who Lanky told me I need to ban them because they called Lanky's mum fat.
Now I've looked over our messages, and despite Rob's claims, I've only ever advised a ban on a single player, and I've given a warning about another. Now as a heads up, this next screenshot does include racial slurs. It's going to be on screen now. As you can see, these messages are just completely inappropriate. However, Rob kind of wants to defend them. He wants to downplay them and say that it's just comments about moms. Again, Rob, I'm not too sure why you're defending the use of the N-word to call people that as a slur, but then again, it's your channel. Of course, you are the victim in this case. There were other things that Robotnik did as well, including impersonating other members and sending racial slurs, also messaging people in DMs, again sending racial slurs. This guy's not really nice, but Rob seems to really want to defend him and downplay these situations. I'd honestly like to know why he feels the need to do this. Like, why would you want to push a false narrative that I ban anybody who makes comments about myself, which I'll get on in a sec, because there's only 5 people who have been banned, and most of them are alt accounts from Robotnik, but to completely fabricate a situation when there's screenshot evidence of you acknowledging the multiple racial slurs made by Robotnik. How desperate are you to find something against me? Dude, if you have to make up a reason for disliking me. I mean, he also stated that he unbanned him, and I haven't seen him in chat, so where is he? Did you just lie about unbanning him as well?
At the time I did actually ban them, and then the more I thought about it, the more I was just like, that's nothing to do with me. I'm not going to ban them off my stream because of that. So I unbanned them.
Dude, it's just a desperation from this guy. And his second point relates to a Valheim stream. Rob claimed that in his video that when he joined chat, I claimed that when he ends streaming, I'll get all his viewers, and that just didn't sit right with him.
It just didn't sit right with me, and he was like, okay, I want you to do well, because if you do well, then it helps me to grow. He literally said to Matusi, he literally said this, it wasn't verbatim, but essentially what he was saying was, if Rob decides that he doesn't like streaming, and he stops doing it, then the community that he's built up will come over to mine. That's essentially what he said.
Now, just use your brain for a bit. If I wanted to steal his community, why would I tell him that I want to steal his community? That's like the worst thieving ever. Now, the only thing that I could think that he could try and misrepresent this from is when we was talking about raids. However, you can actually see in the messages here, he doesn't take any issue from what I'm saying, and he actually stays on later until about 3 o'clock in the morning. So if Rob was so offended like he claims he was, why did he stay in stream for such a long time? It just does not make any sense. Unless of course you consider that Rob is purposely misrepresenting the situation like he has done with so many of these points. What's more likely? I tell Rob to his face that I want to steal his community and he stays around in chat for hours, or he just completely lied about the situation to try and make something up. I'll leave it up to you. The Saltitude situation is an interesting one. Rob claims this is my biggest lie, so I should probably explain what it's all about. Saltitude is the name of a Belmont player, and unfortunately, he's a laggy Belmont player. Because of this, not many people enjoyed fighting against him and his connection, which painted a target on his back. Saltitude was then banned from Rob's stream by a moderator for apparently calling somebody's character a bitch. At least, this is what Saltitude claimed at the time. Now, I had tried reaching out to Rob before I saw these accusations from Saltitude, however, Rob refused to respond. I then took it upon myself to actually watch through the VODs to find out what really happened, and I found two things that night. The first thing I found was a ton of abuse towards Saltitude. See, Saltitude would make alt accounts to try and message Rob and get unbanned. Now, a reasonable response might be to talk to Saltitude privately and resolve the situation there. Yeah, I mean, it's Rob we're talking about. Instead, what he decided to do is host 20-minute segments at the start of his stream where he read out the messages Saltitude was saying, then openly mocked him and encouraged his chat to join in. I mean, listen, I get it, it's pretty pathetic from Saltitude to keep begging to be let back in, but it's also pretty disgusting that Rob would use his platform to humiliate somebody that way, especially as he is encouraging his chat to join in. Now, Rob did respond to this situation. The comment that he made was, "Nah, I'm not unbanning him. I'm sure an alt may pop up, but it will just be banned too. Feeling like everyone has generally had enough." So the question is, why did Rob suddenly change his mind after making the statement saying he won't unban Saltitude? Well, unsurprisingly, the answer is pretty simple. We spoke to Sonny, the moderator who banned Saltitude, and they gave a full account of what actually happened. According to the messages sent, Saltitude offered to gift subs to Rob in exchange for getting unbanned. Rob agreed to this, not thinking Saltitude would actually donate to the channel, and then Saltitude did actually donate subs, so Rob decided to unban him. Now, to be fair, Sonny claims that Rob didn't actually believe Saltitude would donate to the channel. Furthermore, he claims that it was Saltitude who'd offered to pay money and not Rob telling Saltitude he had to. This is likely why Rob has only ever denied asking money from Saltitude, never actually Saltitude donating money, and then being unbanned as a result of it. However, I've actually got a few problems with this. Firstly, when Saltitude offered money to be unbanned, why did Rob say yes? Rob claims that he didn't actually think he'd donate, but surely if he didn't actually want him to donate, the answer would have been no. Saltitude asked if he paid money, would he be unbanned, and Rob said yes. He then donated money and then was unbanned. Rob could have said no and eliminated all the risk of Saltitude donating money. And secondly, now that Rob knows that Saltitude would be willing to donate money to get unbanned, why did Rob recently entertain the idea of Saltitude donating a stupid amount of money to be unbanned from the channel again?
Ever asked the guy for money? Yeah, there was that time last week at Lanky where Salt was like, I'll give you 750 quid if you unban me. We did the poll won.
Rob hosted polls on whether he should accept a large amount of money for Saltitude being unbanned, and he shamelessly admitted this. The poll voted in favour of Saltitude donating the money, and a couple streams later, Rob's still going on about how Saltitude owes him the same amount of money.
Oh my god. I mean, Salt technically owes me, what is it, £750? But I'm not chasing them up on that yet.
I'm sorry, but I simply do not buy into the idea that Rob didn't want these donations to come through. Furthermore, with the claims currently going around that Saltitude has been sending inappropriate DMs, and now suddenly he's willing to pay £750 to be unbanned, and has now been unbanned, and now Rob is saying that Saltitude owes him money, it just seems incredibly strange. Now, I could keep going on about the history between myself and Rob, however, what I really want to do now is go over the lies which Rob has conjured. There are quite a few, so we're going to try and go through these a little bit quicker. So one of the claims which Rob made was that I banned hundreds of accounts for pretty much no reason.
My stream. This is the guy who's banned countless people in my stream from his one for seemingly ridiculous things.
So, to prove Rob wrong, here's my blocked list on the Switch. Unsurprisingly, there's not hundreds of accounts like Rob falsely claimed, there's actually only 3 people. The first 2 accounts we believe are WillyCheez, and I'll explain why he's banned after this point. The next 3 accounts are from Robotnik, who I mentioned before, and the other one is Alpha. I don't know who this guy is, to be honest with you. MK Gamer was blocked because he was using modern profile pictures to try and get people banned on Twitch. However, since it has nothing to do with Smash, I'm not really going to count it. And everyone else here are trolls from Rob's community. Most haven't names which aren't too great, all of which joining on the same day, unsurprisingly, the first stream after I'd done since Rob decided to make his slanderous claims. This one guy joined with a Hitler me, which is pretty strange when you think about it. Why do members of Rob's community have Hitler me's just saved? Somewhat questionable maybe. I've heard people try to defend this by saying that Rob told people not to do this. However, at the same time there are clips of him telling people to go into my chat and say how much they dislike me.
If you would like to tell Lanky that you dislike him, please put it in chat.
And I'll be clear on this. Many of Rob's community members wanted permission to do this, and Rob gave them that permission. Rob has even said that he's not going to ban anyone who does it, so even if he says, yeah, don't do that, it doesn't matter because he's not going to take any action. Now this is more of a side point, mostly because I've seen Ches lying about this for over a year when talking about me. Ches claims he was banned because he beat me in Smash. Unsurprisingly, this is untrue. Ches was banned because he was incredibly toxic to other members of the community. I'd seen him in other communities being rude to other members and was extremely argumentative over subjects which didn't really matter. But I think one of the more annoying points was whenever he lost, he genuinely could not accept it. Now Ches continued this toxic behavior over multiple streams. However, the reason he's so salty about being banned is because of his last ever time in the arena. Ches joined the arena when there was barely anyone left. I played against him twice and I beat him twice. He picked Game & Watch for the first game and then lost via 2-stock, and then he picked Wario and lost the game. He then swapped characters and played against another viewer who then 3-stocked him. Ches refused to accept his loss, started complaining, and then having a go at the other viewer. I didn't like how he was having a go at the other viewer and how he kept demanding a rematch, refusing to GG, so I banned him so he'd never be able to get his rematch. Now is this immature? Perhaps, but seeing him try to cope for the past 15 months has honestly been hilarious. Now Rob briefly mentioned a collab, so I'll quickly just cover what it was. Now I'll try and keep this point as short as possible. Rob basically claimed that I was continually talking over him, he didn't have any fun during the stream, I was just incredibly rude. And he didn't even want to be playing Mario Kart, I more or less just sat him down and forced him to play Mario Kart against his free will.
Like, I'll be honest, I didn't have any fun like doing it whatsoever. I don't enjoy Mario Kart.
Now there's a few problems of this, the main one being that Rob was the one who asked if he could play Mario Kart with me. He's the one who suggested it. You just gotta love how this guy is incapable of telling the truth. And as for talking over him in stream, I think sometimes it does happen where somebody might accidentally speak over somebody else, but even then it would just be accidental and wouldn't really be too much of a big deal. No other streamers who I've collabed with have ever brought up this issue, and when I've asked them, they've all said that I don't speak over them. So it's likely just another pathetic attempt from Rob to try and tarnish my name and make out that I'm just this horrible guy on Twitch. So one of the things which his community chants about me is that I must be a Nazi, and it's really interesting to see how these Nazi comments started. From what I can gather, Rob raided a German streamer and his chat then asked if he knows me, because of course every German's a Nazi, and if a German knows me, then I must be a Nazi. Now because this has actually been brought up, Rob had this to say on the situation.
Please tell me when I've asked any of my chat to call you a Nazi.
Now I do love the way he words this. Please tell me when I've asked my chat to call you a Nazi. Here's evidence of him joining in with people who are calling me a Nazi. Here's one of his viewers saying that Rob directly told him to call me a Nazi. And here's your chat session for the stream where you've got other people saying that they're quite literally accusing me of being a Nazi. See, I don't think it should be when have you told your chat to call me a Nazi. I think the real question is, when have you taken any action on your community who are actively calling me a Nazi? You could quite easily remove comments and tell people if they're gonna keep calling me a Nazi, you will time them out from the Discord or Twitch chat. However, you don't want to do that because you don't want to take any action on your community, especially when they're attacking other streamers that you dislike. And I know that I briefly mentioned this before, but why is it that Alpha MK is so closely tied to somebody called Jula? Jula will join arenas with Hitler memes, however every single time Jula has been in chat, Alpha has been right by his side, and this seems to be the case for other streamers as well, where Alpha just magically seems to appear as soon as June was there. Alpha rarely appears in my chat anyway, so the fact that he randomly appears when June was there is already suspicious at best. But what's even more suspicious is the fact that June was there when Rob's community began joining with inappropriate account names. He was one of the members who was banned because he joined with a Hitler meme. I just find it strange that this guy who routinely joins people's arenas with Hitler memes also joined with Rob's community. But what I also found strange was that Alpha began hosting streams where people would join with account names related to Nazi Germany, all whilst Alpha tried to get these people to join my Discord, and here's the evidence of that now. Now, if I didn't mention how Rob's community were also adding fuel to the fire, I wouldn't really be addressing one of the main problems with this situation. Many people in Rob's community have gone out their way to try and cause as much drama as possible. For an example, take Titus. Titus had started a lot of this drama by coming into my chat and alleging that Rob had told his community to call me a Nazi. Now, since I'd seen Rob engage with this kind of behaviour before in his Discord, I made a comment saying how Rob needs to moderate his community, to which Rob's community instantly sent messages to Rob, trying to spark more drama, which led to Rob making a 100-minute long rant directed towards myself. But my favourite part of his rants was when he realised that all of this started because of Titus making these claims.
Someone's just sent me a screenshot and Titus was in Lanky's chat saying Rob said to call you Nazi B.
Suddenly Rob realised that my comments were in response to one of his community members spilling the beans on what was apparently going on in his channel, and you just gotta love his reaction to this. Now maybe you'd think that Rob would have learned his lesson from this, but he still has Titus around and still believes Titus's baseless claims. For example, Titus would go into chat, ask about Rob, and when I said I wouldn't respond, he instantly clipped it and sent it to Rob's Discord in an attempt to start more drama. Furthermore, Titus went to Rob and began making these false claims that he was banned for asking questions about Matudi, which we can show is completely untrue, but of course Rob treated it as gospel and began making more claims about how I apparently ban everybody for no reason.
Titus, also, I actually DM'd you. I wanted to know about like what the fuck happened, because I didn't fully understand what you were saying yesterday about the situation. Like, are you like fully like banned?
These lies were pushed even further by Rob when he mentioned how Ches was apparently banned for cargo throw, something we've proven wasn't true, and also how Saltitude was apparently banned for dash dancing.
He's banned a lot of people from his stream. Losing at Smash, you know, like Salt said he got banned for dash dancing or something. Cheese said he got banned for cargo. Like, it's in-game bullshit.
But Saltitude isn't even banned. Like, we've shown the ban list, he's not on there. Add the Jeweler Hitler me, which was a part of the raid from Rob's community. Alpha MK and Milo making Nazi comments on a separate stream. Or Demo cutting clips to make it sound like I'm saying something offensive. I think it's pretty clear that Rob's community is trying to continue this drama. Now, whilst I, and even some of Rob's own community can see this, Rob seems incapable of seeing it himself and instead will actually defend his community's actions, which also includes threats of violence, which I'll get onto now. Now, when I saw the threats to assault me, I decided to post a tweet on the situation to show what was basically going on. Rob decided to make another reaction stream to one tweet. And in his reaction stream, he defended the use of threats, saying it's simply a joke.
I mean, we can look at the screenshots. Okay. I mean, it's undeniable. End literally said that. Clearly, it was a joke.
Honestly, just absolutely brilliant. I do wonder though, if that's a joke, is this a joke as well?
Clearly, it was a joke.
What about this? Is this also a joke?
Clearly, it was a joke.
Yes, but what about this? Is this also a joke?
Clearly, it was a joke.
Yeah, I mean, that's a fantastic joke. Just say that you're going to dox somebody's location and assault them. That's comedy 101. However, Rob actually decided to go on the attack further and claimed this.
My perspective, the way I look at Lanky, God complex is the correct word. That seems to be what he's got. He seems to have an issue with anyone who talks any shit about him.
You've totally got me on that one. Not wanting another streamer to host threats about doxing my location, yeah, it just shows I've got a god complex. I want to be treated differently by not having people threaten to dox my location. That's completely unreasonable. I do wonder though, what would happen if somebody was to, I don't know, say that they didn't like Rob's community, or maybe just express an opinion that was negative of it? Well, we do actually know the answer, because Honchagon made a comment saying that he thought Rob's community was a little toxic. Rob decided to address it on stream and basically square up to Honchagon.
Honchagon's back. I've actually got a bone to pick with you actually. Honchagon, what's with all the telling other streamers that this community is toxic? What's going on with that?
What makes it even better is Rob's chat, because they're all against me because I apparently ban people for no real reason. But they immediately called to ban Honchagon for just making a comment saying that he thought the community was a little toxic. Oh, I love it. It's just brilliant. You just gotta love how hypocritical this group is. It's amazing. Now for my final point before the conclusion. Rob was really feeling himself at this point and decided to claim that he was Ben Shapiro.
I mean, I'm going to beat him with facts and logic. Ben Shapiro, let's go.
Now, interestingly, he said he would use facts and logic, however, he didn't provide either of those. Still, though, it made for a good setup, because on his final point, Rob decided to claim this.
Like Sam and I have spoken about this off stream as well. Like, for us, like, we just do it because we like to play with people and talk to chat. That's the only reason why I'm streaming. For Lanky, dare I say, I don't think that that's his main motive for doing it.
Mr. Shapiro, if you only knew how ridiculous that statement is, you wouldn't have said it.
Now, whilst I find it interesting that the same guy who accepts money to unban people would accuse somebody else of being only on Twitch for money, it makes me think we should probably give Rob a very quick history lesson. I've been making content on YouTube since the beginning of 2015. I've got over 400 videos on the channel, and I haven't made a single penny on any of them. So of course the question is, how am I only making content just for the money? Here's another one. I removed all possible adverts on my Twitch channel to make for a better viewing experience for everybody at the cost of revenue from adverts and subscriptions. So again, how am I only making content for the money? I decided to work a full-time job, and still do to this day, so that I don't have to rely on people donating funds so I can continue following my passion. So again, please answer, how am I only doing this for the money? The thing that gets me is the only evidence, and I use the term evidence so lightly on this, the only evidence that you have to support this claim is that I've stated I would love to do Twitch as a job. And to that I respond with, hell yeah, I would love to do Twitch as a job. I love making videos on YouTube and Twitch. I would want nothing more than to be able to continue making these videos and streams for people to watch. It sounds cheesy, it sounds naive, and you know what? It is. But at the end of the day, that's what drives me, to continue to improve upon myself and maybe just bring some positivity into somebody's day. I really shouldn't have to justify why I'm a content creator. I think everybody knows that I'm not in it for the money. But of course, it's just another baseless claim by Rob. The guy who accepts money to unban people, also saying that other people are just in it for the money. Gotta love the hypocrisy. And that is finally it. Everything I wanted to say on the Rob drama so far in one video which is way longer than I ever anticipated. To be truthful, when the idea of making a video on the subject was brought up, we never actually thought we'd have to upload it. We pretty much thought that making a video would be the last resort, a deterrent if you will. I had made an offer to Rob that he wouldn't be mentioned in any of my streams if I wasn't brought up in any of his. However, Rob immediately broke this so-called truce a few hours later when he hosted another stream where he started ranting about me. If the original video was strike 1, for us this was strike 2, and it's what started the creation of this video. I didn't really want to get to strike 3, but Rob's community continued with the harassment. Rob appears to have done absolutely nothing to prevent this, and ultimately has continued to peddle the lies that he came up with before. This was his last chance. This video will provide as my official statement on the entire situation. As far as I'm concerned, I've proven that Rob has knowingly lied on multiple occasions. From the evidence provided by Rob's moderator, we've proven that Saltitude did pay for an unban like I claimed. I've proven that many of the reasons people claim they were banned was simply untrue, with a lot of them not even being banned in the first place. I've shown undeniable proof that Rob knowingly lied and misled his community on Robotnik's ban in an attempt to throw shade at me and cover up Robotnik's racial slurs. And I've shown that Alpha MK and Rob have had some involvement with the Nazi comments, with Alpha MK likely working with another account and joining multiple people's arenas in an attempt to get them banned with Hitlerese. Again, very strange of Alpha MK. But to be truthful, I do actually have more clips of Rob, more suspicious things that he said, but maybe that's for another time. I think really that depends on Rob. It's likely that Rob will make some kind of response to this, but I honestly don't care. He'll probably try and find an old screenshot to take out of context, or maybe show a small segment of his stream where he tells his viewers not to do something, whilst ignoring the other 95% of the stream where he's telling them to do the exact opposite. It doesn't really matter though. As far as I'm concerned, Rob has been proven to be a liar, and if people want to trust the words of a liar, then more for them. I generally think the best thing that Rob can do now is more or less just apologise. Say that you're done goofed, say that you're not going to do these things in the future, and then as far as I'm concerned that's the end of it. But generally there's not much more to say. I think the one thing that I can say is thank you. Thank you to all the people who have watched this video with an open mind. I think from this experience I have learned quite a few things, including who I can trust on the platform. There have definitely been some people who have finally shown their true colours, but at the same time there have been even more people who have shown their support for me and offered to help in any way they can. Hopefully we can now all move on from the drama, it's all been addressed, it's all been put to bed. Anyway guys, thank you so much once more, and I hope you all have a wonderful day.